Hello friends, today I am going to create a program of arithmetic mean discrete series in C++. So friends, what is the formula of this? As you know that its formula is equals to arithmetic mean is equals to summation of frequency multiplied by elements divided by summation of frequency. This is the formula of arithmetic mean in discrete series. So now we are going to create the program of this in C++. First of all, we write the header files, the required header files like hash include iostream.h for input output task, and for clear screen and get ch task we will use conio.h, right? So next we are going to define the main function. So void main. Now what we require is basically to input frequency as well as the elements, and after that we require to sum that frequency, and first of all we multiply these frequency elements with the corresponding x elements, and then we are required to calculate the summation of these multiplications. So for frequency, let us take an array in integer. I wrote a frequency array like f20, and we require the another array that is x20 to just input the elements. F is for input frequency and x is for input the elements. Next is how many elements we are going to input is we will get with the help of n. So we will get these things only. Okay, so first of all we require the frequency and we require the elements. So we take these elements. So after that, next clear screen, to clear the screen. The variable we require after stages we will declare at that stage. Okay, so now first of all I am going to show a message, enter number of elements. I'm asking to the user that just enter what will be the number of elements in frequency as well as the number of elements in x. So let us suppose that this will be input in n. So this will be inputted. Now next we are going to write, I am going to write a message that is cout enter elements as well as frequencies. For this I'm going to write a loop to input frequencies as well as the corresponding elements. So here I'm going to use a loop. Okay, so I'm going to use a for loop. For, so as in C++ we can declare variable at any stage. So I'm declaring here a variable I that is used as a loop control variable, and initial value of this variable would be 0, and I say that this loop will moves to the n and increment 1 by 1. Okay, so after that I'm going to input frequency as well as the elements. So first of all I will ask to input elements as the message is enter element as well as frequency. So first of all we will use x, I and fi. So first of all it will prompt the user to input element, and secondly it will prompt user to input your frequency. So right now we will input frequency as well as the elements. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to do the summation of this frequency. But we have to use the summation of the frequency, and we have to find the multiplication of the frequency and the corresponding x element, and we have to find the summation of this. So for this portion, I'm going to take a variable here, that is float sum is equals to 0 and SF is equals to 0. SF is used for summation of frequency. For this portion, summation fx, I'm going to use a variable that is the sum, and for summation of frequency I'm going to use a variable sf, and I have provided the initial value as 0. So for this portion, first of all, I'm going to write this sum plus is equals to fi star xi. What this step is going to be done, that is, it will calculate the multiplication of the corresponding frequency with the corresponding element, and after that it will calculate the sum of these multiplication result. Okay, after that, for this step, for summation of frequency, I'm going to write sf plus is equals to si. It will pick every element from frequency array and sum this with the sf. Okay, right? So this loop task is completed. So now I have this portion, I have this portion. So what we require only to calculate the arithmetic mean. So for this, I'm going to declare a variable in float. So I will declare variable here, or even I can declare variable here. So nothing an issue. So let me declare variable at that portion, right? So it's am, arithmetic mean. Okay. So next, am is equals to sum divided by sf. This, why we do this step? Because we have to calculate the arithmetic mean by summation of frequency multiplied by elements, corresponding element divided by the summation of frequency, and this portion, the result is calculated in sum variable and summation of frequency is calculated in sf variable. So we just apply the formula over there. Okay, so now what is the last step? The last step is to print this result. Okay, so arithmetic mean is, say, am. Okay, and I'm just write this get ch so that out will be stable at the screen. So this is the program of arithmetic mean in the case of discrete series. Now let us take the example of this thing. So first of all, I'm going to remove so that some space will be present over there. So first of all, I'm going to just explain you the logic. Okay, so line by line it will move. So first of all, I'm going to just explain the logic. Okay, so I just input, this will prompt me the message that enter the elements. So okay, I'll element, for example, I will enter, there are 3 elements. Okay, after that I will enter x. Now first, the value of I is initialized as 0 and I is less than 3, that is 0 is less than 3. True or false? It's true. So now x, we just input value at x0. Let us suppose it will be 1, and at the same time we have to input the value at frequency 0th element. So let it be 2. Okay, now next is it will calculate the sum. Now sum is going to be, the initial value of sum was 0. Sum is going to be 0 into f0 plus x0. So f0 is 2 and x0 is 1. 2 multiply 1 is 2. Then after that 2 plus 0 is 2. So sum will store the result as 2 at first iteration. Okay, now sf will be is equals to frequency 0th element plus sf initial value. Initial value was 0. So 0 plus f 0th element value is 2. So it will be 0 plus 2, 2. Now sum include at this step at first iteration 2 and SF is also include 2, right? Now this loop completes. Now the I will be incremented by 1. The value of I will be 1. Now the condition will be checked whether the value of I is less than n or not. That is, I contains the value 1 and I 1 is less than 3. True or false? It's true. So it will prompt user to input the value, that is x first element. So let us suppose we are going to input the value 3 and at f frequency first element, let us suppose we are going to input element 4. Okay, now what will it do? It will do like sum plus is equals to f1 multiplied by x1, as I is 1. So if 1 contains 4 and x1 contains 3, so 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, right? So it will calculate the sum's old value and it will add the sum's old value with the frequency multiplied by x. So frequency multiplied by x result is 12 and sum contains old value 2. 2 plus 12, 14. Now the new value of sum is 14, right? So after that it will calculate SF. SF plus is equals to Fi. SF contains the value 2 and Fi, that is F1, contains value 4. So 2 plus is equals to 4, that is 2 plus 4 is equals to 6. Now the SF contains 6 value, right? So now the loop completed again. Now I will be incremented again. I's value is now 2. Now i's value is compared with the value of n, that is I is less than 2. True or false? It's true, obvious. Now it will again prompt the user to input the value at x second index and f second index. So let us suppose the values will be 5 and 6. Okay, now it will calculate the sum, that is Fi multiplied by xi plus sum. So Fi contain f2 contains 6 and x2 contain 5, as 6 5s are 30. So sum's old value is 14, right? So 30, this contain value 30. So 30 plus 14, that is equals to 44. Now sum contains the new value, that is 44, and now after that it will calculate the SF. SF plus is equals to Fi. SF's old value is 6 and Fi contain, that is F2 contains 6. Then 6 plus 6 is equals to 12. Now SF contain 12 value. Okay, right? Now the loop again complete, again second iteration complete. Now loop will be incremented, that is I plus is, that is equals to 3, right? Now 3 is not less than 3, it's false condition, right? So it won't execute this body of the loop. Okay, the control will moves out to the loop and after that it will calculate the arithmetic mean. Sum contain the value 44 and SF contain the value 12. So it will store the result of arithmetic mean as 3.66667. Okay, so it after that it will prompt to the user that arithmetic mean is AM, and that's all. So the sum and SF will give you the result. Okay, and that's all. After that, let us now move to the laptop for execution. Now we wrote the same program in laptop and let's run with the same input that I give you the example in the program. So let's run this. Okay, now see, it prompts the user to input the number of elements. Let us suppose it's 3. Okay, so 3, it prompts the user to enter elements as well as frequency. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I entered same elements I wrote in the example. Okay, so now let's enter. So it will give the same result as was as I discussed in the program. So that's all.